welcome to the XPReport. I'm Keirron, and with me is Ronnie. So we, every few weeks we tackle what's happening in gaming, anything from analog to digital. So thanks for dropping by and watching or listening or however you're doing that. Best thing you can do for the podcast, if you like what you hear in the first few minutes, give us some stars, some likes, some reviews on whatever you watch or listen to. That would be greatly helpful for us and push it out to people who want to hear anything and get up to date on stuff.
Absolutely.
So that's great. And if you want to catch me on anything but this, I do stuff for Scalebound Games, for A Few Dragons, make mostly games and stuff like this. Ronnie, where can people find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me on social media. Ronnie Crazy everywhere, RonnieKrazy. I also am helping Keirron and the team at A Few Dragons and Scalebound out with some things here and there, getting the hang of it and kind of dipping my feet into the PR side of it. So, you guys can Ronnie Crazy everywhere, basically.
I love it. I watch your stuff. It's good, so you should as well. Do you want to bring us into our first stuff?
Yeah, we got quite a bit for you guys this week, especially with the Nintendo Direct just happening, and we're getting another one in a day. But we're kicking things off just with some news. Yeah, it really is. With a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to start off Assassin's Creed Shadows controversial release. Ubisoft. I played it. I played a little bit of it. I'm really enjoying the game. I'm juggling a bunch of stuff right now, but I haven't really gotten time. But people are really up in arms about there being a black samurai, a female protagonist who also is a lesbian. It's a whole thing. Heaven forbid, right? I think the biggest real issue, though, was the ability for players willingly and choosing on their own to destroy monuments, shrines, and things like that, which I'm pretty sure I heard that they've patched out almost immediately.
They're patching out, either they have already or they're doing more soon. I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, but that's been a big thing. But on the other side of it all, Assassin's Creed Shadows is Ubisoft's best launch on Steam to date. So was it a power move?
Was this the first one they've released on Steam in a while? Because their last launch, I don't think they did Steam.
On launch, yeah, I think this is the first one to launch on Steam alongside Ubisoft Connect. So that might play a pretty big part.
I think that plays a big part in it because people are getting it there instead. It's going to do so much better for that. Like, because so many people, myself included, I'm just not going to download Ubisoft Connect. If you want me to play one of your games, it's going to be somewhere that I actually get games.
And I mentioned it to you that like the only reason I was playing on Ubisoft Connect was because I had a partnership with them. If I had a choice, if I ever have a choice, it's on Steam. Like Steam, I know it's like a monopoly. We've talked about that, but it's because they're doing it right. Like there's a reason. But if I have a choice, it's Steam.
Yeah. So Assassin's Creed Shadows. I did see a post, someone being like, majority of people don't care about this stuff. They just want to play a good game, and that the sales numbers reflect that. So the people that are up in arms about it, it's both the shrine thing, which and the race thing. Both things are just like it's a fantastical world where if you want to believe that there's no lesbians or black people in the world, I guess you can believe that, but. There are, and like there's gonna be games that include them. And for the shrine stuff, like I'm pretty sure they went out of their way to make sure the shrines weren't linked to any sort of real life things. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Anyone? Come in the comments. But
I definitely don't know for sure myself.
Yeah, it's what are you're gonna make people happy, unhappy. It's
not everybody's going to be happy. And, they did disclose right at the beginning, every time you launch the game, this is a complete work of fiction, which a lot of games do. But you can't please anybody or everybody, so.
No, absolutely not. All right, well, let's get into our next one. Nintendo Direct. They dropped, like as they always do, a lot of games.
A lot, yeah.
Some notables for me was the Story of Seasons, Grand Bazaar, and Metroid Prime 4. Was it? No, is it Metroid Prime 4?
Yeah, 4. Yep.
Yeah, they both look really awesome. I think like the Metro Prime one's more for me, but like I can see myself sitting down with my kid and playing Story of Seasons. Like just the vibe of the world. He'll love playing that alongside of me.
Yeah,
I imagine
looks really
for you,
family friendly.
Rhythm Heaven and Patapon.
Oh man,
Patapon?
I never played Patapon, but obviously Rhythm Heaven. Everybody was waiting for it in like the rhythm gaming community, and I saw a bunch of reactions. So stoked. I'm sad it's coming out next year. Like I was like, as soon as I saw, everybody heard the menu click sound after the first sentence and like lost their minds, and then for them to say it's next year, kind of hurt, but. It's been a long time. Everybody's ready. For
Nintendo Directs, that shocks me because they have them every 3 months. You do not need to be announcing something for next year in a Nintendo Direct, in my opinion.
I agree, but I think because so many people have been up in arms about Rhythm Heaven specifically, since I think Mega Mix was the last one, came out, 12 years ago?
Yeah, but like every single person, their mum, their children, their pets are like Silk Song when it's going to be in tomorrow's Direct, and like they wait for it, and they'll like 2 months before it comes out, they'll be like, all right, it's actually finally coming out, and people will lose their minds then. You don't need to hype it up the year before.
The only thing I really wish they would have done alongside the Rhythm Heaven announcement was like announcing porting all the originals over to Switch too, but that's asking a lot.
If the game succeeds well, they'll do it just from a monetary purpose, I think. We'll see. What else? Witchbrook looks really cool. That's like a co-op. You're going through school. It's like Harry Potter without all the bad stuff. Without all the stuff attached to that IP. So you go to school, you become a witch, and go around town. It's 1 to 4 players co-op, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Disney Villains Cursed Cafe. I know, not for me, but I know lots of people that are going to be so into that. Like they're going to just eat that up.
I mean, if Dreamlight Valley, is that what it's called? Is any indicator, it's going to do great. It looks pretty interesting. Not for me either. So
it's not for me. I think it's more casual than Dreamlight Cafe, and people can be a lot less like all in on it, which I think is going to open it up to a lot more Disney fans.
Yeah, and just for sure.
I think like it's so memeable because you got like Yzma making concoctions to everybody, and there's just all the memes about like the potions and all that stuff already there. Mm-hmm. There's just going to be a lot of stuff that like people are like, that thing from that thing. I think they're heavily putting that in the game, which will for sure sell well. Yeah. Any other notable? The virtual game cards.
Oh, big time. I was just saying this. I think this is a pretty big thing for like homes with multiple Switches in them. Being able to just lend out your virtual game for up to 2 weeks and then it automatically coming back to you. Like, I think that's really cool. I think it's something all these other consoles need to do.
I think it's harder with other like with a Switch. You could be there with someone. You're not in this day and age. You're not bringing your Xbox over to your friend's house mostly.
It's true. Yeah.
It's. I think it's different because it's portable.
And I guess like there's other features like on Xbox and on PlayStation where you can make your home Xbox and then access it from another account.
Yeah.
And things like that.
I've never used a single one of those features. I'm aware they exist.
Yeah. But I think it's a neat thing. I think it's probably something good. Nintendo's definitely looking out for people like with multiple devices in the house.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Oh, that's the whole thing. Multiple Switches in a house, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely looking forward to moving on. The Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD remakes, just because I've never really went through a Dragon Quest game, and I think it would be great to like finally dive in a more modern, since I'm not going to have nostalgia glasses on, in a more modern take of the game.
Yeah, they're definitely your vibe.
Oh, for sure.
And the last thing for me on the Nintendo Direct is the Pokemon Legends ZA. I didn't like the look of it. I think the last Pokemon ones they brought out like really brought something new. It almost seems like they're cutting back on what the game can be in this one, and because it's not it's definitely not one of their flagship ones because it's not. They don't have the AB version essentially. That it's just
Yeah.
this is one of the in between ones. So they're probably trying to test some stuff out here because it almost has a Pokemon Stadium vibe to it in some of the parts that I saw.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's their next entry in the one that they did. Arceus,
Arceus.
which is supposed to. I think it's supposed to, like you said, not be a mainline game, but kind of go veer off from their normal formula.
It seems to be like they're doing bring out your mainline with features that everyone knows and loves, and then they're using these in between games to test things out, and like they can be a bit more experimental with it. They're not doing the dual release. They can see what features people like and what don't, and you could see with Arceus to what was the one after Violet and
Scarlet Violet.
Scarlet Violet. You could see from there that just bringing in those features that people like from Arceus into that one worked well.
Yeah, and I think that's something personally that I think that's something they need to do because as much as people love the formula that they've used for all these years, people want to see new things, or people that are going to be coming into the franchise, testing it out. Maybe they might want to incorporate some new mechanics and features into it.
I think they're limited by Switch One's hardware. I don't think Game Freak have very modern design philosophies. I want to see what they can bring and switch to some Pokemon series. I think Pokemon could be great again. It's even on their new releases feels a bit dated sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. But other than that, I don't really have anything. Sorry, I was going to say in the Nintendo Direct, there's really nothing else that's like super standing out for me personally.
Yeah, same. Lots of cool stuff though. We'll see it as it comes out. I think some stuff came out that day, some stuff next year. All right. RuneScape Dragon Wilds, looking cool. I said to you before, like, I'm glad RuneScape's doing something that's not its actual RuneScape because the lore was never the problem for me. It's just like, I tried to get into them after I played when I was a teenager, and I had time, and now it just seems like such a time sink. So for them to do this, it looks really cool. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, 1 to 4 player co-op. It's a lot more compact in terms of like the experience, and they're keeping all of the lore in that game and in the universe. I think it's being built on Unreal Engine 5 and modernizing the game, but keeping what people love about it intact too.
Not a fan of the Unreal Engine 5 stuff. Like, I think Unreal Engine 5 is great. I think so many devs just use it and don't optimize it well, and then like game comes out, game doesn't run on most people's PCs or is like extremely buggy. They fix for the next 3 months, and I just see it so many times. So I hope that's not the way they go, but we'll see.
Fingers crossed that it's all right. Next thing, in gaming news, YouTube just announced that they're changing the formula with how YouTube Shorts views are counted. Apparently, they heard a lot of feedback from the creators utilizing YouTube Shorts that they're not happy with the way that views work, which was basically you would get a view on a YouTube Short if somebody's watched X amount of time of your YouTube Short or replayed it and so forth. Now it's going to be if you're being served, as soon as it starts playing, you're getting a view. If it gets replayed, you're getting a view. And they're hoping to bring in more traffic to Shorts creators. Personally, I think that, as a creator, your job is to grab the attention of the viewer. But also as a creator, I like it because it's going to result in more viewers or views for me. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think this is something for the low end, the people that are getting low views. They want to see more views because that will make them feel happier. For YouTube, if people are happier, they'll probably produce more content. So that's actually probably good for them. I personally, as someone who runs brand less so than a personal content account. I think I less like this. I don't want to be served. If I'm getting more views, I want to be because more people are engaging with
meaningful
the content.
views. Yeah,
I don't just want the number to go higher because the number's going higher. Like that,
I agree.
As a brand, as a business, doesn't help me. So, from both ways, I can see it. I kind of would prefer if they didn't add this change, but what are you going to do?
Yeah,
I can't.
It's tough. It's a weird line to toe because what does that even mean for you? Just getting an instant view count on your content, other than that satisfaction of seeing it.
It's that little bit of satisfaction. The only way I can see is like if I have 500 today, but tomorrow with this new counting I have 1,000, I can see how many people like instantly scrolled. Maybe that's a little. I can see how crap my content is.
Well, I mean, they're still going to have that metric of like where the fall off is. You'll see the graphs and stuff.
Yeah, because I imagine the fall off already counted people going straight in and swiping off. So, like, I don't think this helps a creator in the long run. I don't think it hurts them in the long run.
It's just they're going to view things differently, and maybe the creators can use this to their advantage to see if, even though again the stuff is already there, the analytics are already there, but maybe they'll be able to see that drop off more heavily, and they can try to tune their content to help.
Last bit of news that we have, because we've spent a long time on news today, more so than we normally would, and that's because of the Direct. Blame Nintendo.
Yes.
Right to them. But Ark Aquatica, it's Ark Survival Evolved Aquatica or Ark Aquatica, I can't remember what they named it. They made an AI trailer. It looked awful. It was terrible. I don't know if you've seen it, Ronnie. So there was a guy swimming at one point, and his foot just turned into a fin. Like,
it happened 2 different times.
Two different times?
Yeah. Insane. Like, no, I am off that ship.
I am not surprised people are going to AI for trailers and stuff. I am surprised that anyone in any sort of quality assurance looked at this and said, yeah, we'll release it.
They said ship it, and they should be ashamed of themselves. Personally, I thought it was not good.
2 things to note here. It was the publisher that decided to go through with this, not the developer Ark Survival Evolved. I don't think Snail Games is great. That's the publisher. They do a lot of shady, terrible stuff. Now, the developer for Ark, I also don't think are great. They've pushed through Ark. It was very buggy. People loved it because I don't think there's a better dinosaur survival builder type of game. So like people that want that content, that's the only place they can sort of go. And I don't think it's really great. And then I think we saw this again with Atlas from them, that they put things together quickly. And instead of making those games really good, they've just gone on to Ark 2. Trying to get that, and they put lots of big names on the trailer. They're like, look, it's Vin Diesel and he's not driving a car this time. Like,
yeah, I mean, not to mention, like, Atlas was supposed to be a expansion to Ark. Like, all the coding was in there, and then they spun it off as its own game.
I'm pretty sure if you mod it, you can launch normal Ark. You can just buy Atlas and launch Ark through it with some command line stuff, because the whole game is in there because they've just skinned it.
That's crazy. But yeah, that's leading back to, like you said, like with shady business practices, not being the best.
Yeah, it's not great. But we'll move on. Don't give them any more limelight. Ark Aquatica, it looks like crap. So we're going to quickly go off some releases this last fortnight. So in the TTRPG, World just released their Kickstarter, and you can get digital copies now. It's a pretty cool product where you, instead of playing the TTRPG, like this game, it's like a card game to build up your TTRPG world. So you get certain prompts and cards and sit around the table, sort of building up the world that you are about to play. And then you can bring that over into, because it's all theme, you just bring that over into whatever TTRPG you want to play, whether it's Pathfinder or Daggerheart or Highwinds, my lovely one.
Yeah.
Just do some pirate themes. Yeah, it's cool. Recently, the first Berserker, you played that, Ronnie? Thoughts?
I was just playing it before we started this. I'm really enjoying it. It is a healthy mix, in my opinion, between like a God of War hack and slash game, action RPG, and like a Souls game. There are mechanics from they're basically taken from those genres and melding them into a cell shaded anime beat 'em up Souls game. Really fun. I thought it was like going to be really easy. I'm finding some really, really tough spots in that game, whereas I haven't seen that in other games. So
that's good. I think people that like that content, that's good. I think it leans a bit heavier on from watching, I think it leans a bit heavier on, like, it feels more like a God of War to me.
yeah.
And so it's just an action adventure. I think the community has gotten really weird about, like, everything's basically a Souls-like. I'm like, is it? Or is, like, were there games before Dark Souls that, like, allowed you to run around the world and hit things?
Yeah. It's because of the whole losing your XP when you die and things like that in games. I think that's where people are just like, oh, it's a Souls game immediately, rather than saying like, oh, they borrowed a mechanic from that. And
yeah,
this is more of an action RPG or even a hack and slash.
Well, CRPGs did that before Dark Souls did.
Yeah.
So is it really just a CRPG action? That's a conversation for another day. Everything is not a Souls-like, and I feel like that's what everyone's trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's the craze with Elden Ring. Like, it's taken over people's minds, and everything's a Souls-like right now.
Yeah.
Even the next game we're about to talk about.
Yeah, what is
it? We're talking about Atomfall. That was recently released. It's weird. It's an open world investigation FPS game from what I've seen. I've only watched like 20 minutes of gameplay. It looks interesting. I've been told that there's not as much action as people think is in the game, but it's very interesting and there's a lot of world building.
I like that. From what I've seen of it, it's a cool new take on, like, some of the stuff that I've seen around before. I think for the people that play, it's going to be great. I probably won't get the time to. Like, it looks good, but there's so much to play that I probably just won't get around to it. But for those, for the people that I've seen playing it, they're really into it.
Well, and the idea behind that genre is actually kind of like what my main topic that we're going to talk about later leans into. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in a little bit.
Xenoblade Chronicles, the Nintendo Switch edition. I think this is cool. Play it if you like Xenoblade Chronicles and didn't get a chance to the first time it was around. They're good games. So that's basically all I have to say. If you like JRPG and just really grand worlds, you'll like Xenoblade.
It's another one of the games that I would say is my bread and butter, but I've never touched because I don't play video games, apparently.
You play video games, just like, it's hard to play all the video games. Like, it's actually functionally impossible.
Yeah, there's so many. You have to really pick and choose.
Yeah. And some indie releases. So we've got Rainbreaker, Dark Deity 2, and Which Way Up by Galaxy Games. We'll put the Steam pages and stuff up for those. Go check them out. We love a good indie release.
Support your indie devs.
Yeah, do that. So, all right, we'll head into our next thing. So we're going to talk about some things that we want to talk about that aren't related to news. Yes. Mine's kind of related to news because everything does it if you're AA or above. So I'm going to talk about pre-orders and how much I hate them. I don't hate them. I do think a lot of games abuse the pre-order system, especially digital-only releases. They shouldn't need a pre-order. I've talked to a few people about this, and from non-industry people, the things I hear is like, oh, I want to support the developers, or like, I want to make sure they, like, get to the finish line and things like that. And I can tell you right now that if not a single person pre-ordered the game, one, the people actually making the game, the developers, they're not going to get any more money. They have been paid. Most of them have probably been laid off, and the only people you're giving money to is the owners, the shareholders. They're the ones who are getting that money. The second thing is if you want the game to like sell well on launch and stuff, buying it on launch helps. Pre-ordering a game doesn't affect its like gold status, its ratings, because that's all from all your pre-orders. I guess do count because on that first day, all pre-orders will go towards those ratings, but it doesn't do the things people think they're doing. Now, back in the day, if you're ordering a physical product. Like if you're ordering a TTRPG and you're pre-ordering that because you want to make sure that you like there's 1,000 copies made of this book or this video game back in like the 2000s when you had to you were lining up at a store trying to get pre-ordering then made sense. Like you were literally reserving a physical thing that will run out. Pre-ordering a digital product, that thing is not running out, but they want that. There's a lot of stats around if someone pre-orders a game and doesn't like it, the purchase was so long ago that they don't care so much about refunding. Like, it's not... They've disconnected the purchase from the experience by this point. And so companies will offer things like, oh, you get a free item, or you get a skin, or get something that, like, doesn't matter at all, and, like, looks good, but it's not as good as our endgame stuff, so you will replace it, like, immediately.
Yeah, almost within, with most games, an hour or two. It wears out its welcome.
Exactly. So pre-orders, just basically you're being duped into a lot of things, and they will use guilt and your own like biases against you to try and get you to pre-order, which sucks. I think it's disingenuous. Now, where pre-ordering, I have seen some. This is more crowdfunding, but crowdfunding is just pre-ordering, in my opinion. You have Larian Studios who did a massive Kickstarter. You've got lots of TTRPG games and board games and tabletop in general doing Kickstarters. That is different where like these companies are actually using that money to build up the game because, again, it costs so much more money to build up a physical product because they actually need capital to build it and then get it to you. So you are literally supporting a company for the most part.
Yeah, like the manufacture and shipping of it, yeah.
Like Wizards of the Coast can produce their product without your help and then sell it to you. That's fine. They don't need the money. But like there's a lot of indie RPGs that them getting a successful pre-order campaign or Kickstarter or crowdfund is going to be the difference of whether that product gets to your door or doesn't get made at all. And I think that's where it's different. And those feelings that people have normally of pre-ordering actually apply correctly there. So it's going to be like, oh, I want this dev to get money to actually make the product. Then that is actually what's happening there.
And I agree with that. Not just not just on TTRPGs either. Like small indie companies, that are doing like video games too, like doing the Kickstarters, and they 9 times out of 10, I would say, offer physical, rewards for such things, or immortalizing you within the game or something like that. And I think
the immortalizing with you in the game is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really valuable thing.
I think bringing up another point on indies, a lot of times, like I've known a few. Fox and Shadow recently just completed their Kickstarter. Pipsqueak, a game that you want to play, they completed theirs. I can tell you now that both those games, even with a successful Kickstarter, they asked for 1/4 of what they needed to actually finish the game. Because they can't, like, as an indie game, you can't be like, I need 400,000 to complete this. People are like, you don't need you can make a game for 10,000. It's like, no, you really can't. Yeah. Both of these games are games that take 2 or 3 years to make. Staffing alone, each person working on a game, estimated in Australia, in AUD is about 50 to 75k. In USD, that's going to be like 40 to 50k a year. So like getting a programmer, someone doing your sound, someone doing your art, already you're like between 150 and 300k to make this game. And it's so weird. Like people will pre-order for days for a AAA game, and then like, oh, an indie game is asking for more than $50,000. Like they're greedy.
Yeah. And they don't take into account marketing and all these other things that go into it.
Oh yeah,
they're just trying to break even. They're not even trying to like turn a like a massive profit. They just want to complete their passion.
Yeah, I've talked to a few PR companies and other things, and like, yeah, it's rough. Like, getting to a Kickstarter can cost between 10 and 20 grand just on like marketing, because you need the Kickstarter to go well. You need that to complete your project. So like the amount of money you spend on that, it's hard, because if that fails, then you've just wasted money. So it's of time, money, and blood sacrifices. Like, it's a lot to invest.
Yeah, it's just like from the outside looking in, they don't realize everything that goes into it. They just think, yeah, it's an indie game. It doesn't cost that much to make.
Yeah.
Why do you need this?
Exactly. All right. Well, do you want to go? Well, that's what I have to say about pre-orders and like that sort of environment. I hope that changes one person from pre-ordering a game. We shall see.
Yeah. The topic I wanted to kind of touch on tonight was taking risks in video games is what I kind of called it. I had talked to you, Keirron, about your game, The Sacred Acorn, and the I wouldn't say it's a risk, but you guys kind of stepped outside of the box with the game in terms of mixing Souls-like gameplay, difficult combat into a cozy, beautiful atmosphere that's not like a dark and dreary world, and that is a risk when it comes to publishing a indie game. But also, I think personally, this is really, really needed to drive the industry forward, whereas a lot of companies see something that's doing really well and then they just copy paste that formula and put their name on it and ship it out because they know it's going to work. If this is the path that gaming and things of the sort are going to go down just to do what works, we're never going to really drive ourselves forward and create new and amazing video games, environments, stories, and anything else. And I really do think it's important. Indie developers, they do this because they take their passions and they go with it. They take the time they need. But with AAA studios, it almost feels like taking the exact same game. I'll use Assassin's Creed as an example, Odyssey, Origins, Valhalla, and now Shadows. If you look at those games and put them all next to each other, you're just seeing like a overlay on top of an already made game. And
it's a formula.
Yeah. And I think that not enough companies are pushing the envelope and trying to move it forward. And that stinks, because I think we start hitting a stale, area in gaming where people say there's no new games out there when there's hundreds, thousands of games being put out all the time.
There is, and it's only going to get worse in the next few years. So I think at least almost 50% of publishers have either reduced what they're offering, so indie publishers or publishers working with indies, reduce what they're offering or completely shut working with third parties, and they're just only producing their own games, and because it's less risky. They don't want to take risks.
Yeah.
You have things like I think it's the Canada Media Fund and Screen Australia's Games Pack Fund. Both of those offer small amounts of money for literally experimental games. To say like, oh, we haven't seen something like this before. We want to give you $150K or $100K or whatever it is to make it and see what happens. And they, Screen Australia at least, they don't care if it is super successful. Like they want to make sure that there's stuff going out into the world for the most part. And if that company then's like, oh, you found like a really cool niche and you've become really successful, then that's great.
I like that a lot. I think that a lot more organizations need to do that. Like I said, to just push it forward, just take a risk. What's the harm in it, honestly? Like, yeah,
harm is lots of money, but
I was gonna say they may dole out 100 to 150,000, a year into a campaign, but if it does mildly well and it sparks maybe the new thing going forward, obviously this is more of a selfless act which a lot of people don't possess, but that's a whole other topic. But it would be good for the industry.
Yeah, it's how Sacred Acorn got Screen Australia funding, and that's how that was made. It was a bit different. We wanted to put, we wanted to be a more top-down Souls-like type of, more Metroidvania type of thing. That was a bit more cute and cuddly instead of gory, which most of them are. And it didn't hit perfectly, but like the people that found it that it was for, like it was great. So yeah, it's hard to do that thing, but like yeah, definitely I think a publisher would see that and like, oh, that did not make the money that we would expect.
Yeah.
It's the same
tough.
thing for publishers, like big publishers like EA. They what was it, Veilguard, the new Dragon Age Veilguard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were like, oh, this only made 50%. Like it sold like 1.5 million copies in like the first week or something, and they were like, oh, it didn't really hit. Like it didn't get the numbers that we wanted. Like really, like that's like that's a success.
What that tells me is that they put way too much money into it. And
they definitely did. That's the other thing. These companies are putting so much money into their products that it either has to make all the money back or it's a failure.
Yeah, and even when it makes its money back, they will consider it a failure. Even, if it might be the best release they've had in the franchise, they're hemorrhaging money when it, putting it into these games makes it really unrealistic to succeed.
Yeah, that, and I guess the other thing is they said something along the lines, I don't know if this is just investor speak, like, oh, we're going to say this so investors are happy, but they're like, if we had more live service features in Veilguard, like that's what the consumers want. This same company who just released Split Fiction with 0 live service features, and it is like definitely contender for Game of the Year. Like,
yeah.
You can't. Maybe it's not that Veilguard needed more live service features, and maybe just needed better direction or like these other things that you're looking for. But like in its own right, still sold really well.
Yeah, and Split Fiction specifically, that is now the number one. What, it broke 3 records for co-op game release already, and it's only been out
3
for
world
a couple
records in the
weeks.
first 2 days.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like they've proven that you don't need that. You just need a great game.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is there are too many companies putting too much money into one product because they're treating it. You do need to treat your business like a business, but you also need to treat it like art. And a lot of these places have forgotten the art part and are just focusing on the business. And they're like, all right, we've invested this much money into product. We don't even care what the game is. We're going to call it Product 7. And Product 7 has not made the returns that it needed for our investors to be happy. And you're like, why would I, consumer 4,312, care about your product if you don't care about it?
That's a topic I wanted to touch on in the next couple of weeks was big corporate businesses and investors getting involved in the gaming industry now that it is like dwarfing the movie and music industry combined year over year recently. Like they're dipping their fingers into it, and now I think it's really watering down the gaming industry because they want the money, they don't want the experience.
Absolutely. Which is hopefully where indies can keep doing well, like your Hollow Knights and things like that. Even Ori. Ori was made by a pretty big company, and that still had so much feeling in it. I wouldn't say pretty big, but they weren't like small 2-person indie. And Hades and things like that as well. So yeah, that's it. Do you have any more on that, or are we good?
No. I've said my piece for now.
All right. Well, I think we'll call it for the XP report. So again, I'm Keirron Statch. You can find me on lots of things. And Ronnie, where can we find you?
Yep, you can find me on all social media. If you want some non-gaming stuff, probably Blue Sky. I try not to post like I'm live. I want to start doing more like social stuff. But if you like watching people play video games, you can find me on Twitch, on YouTube, TikTok, and all that stuff. Ronnie Crazy's my @ and yeah, that's it.
Yep. So yeah, this is the XPReport. We're a Scalebound podcast network podcast. If you want podcasts to do well, or if you want to ask a question, because we are happy to do a question segment once people start asking some questions. You can email podcast@scalebound.au. Yeah, you can rate us on Apple, Spotify, any of the other ones. I think I've got like Listener and I can't remember all the podcast networks, but go on them. I might even get a list next time so I can list them off where we are.
Yeah, we're learning as we go. And if you guys have any suggestions for like topics and things like that, you can always send that over. And if we find it interesting enough for our opinions, we might touch on some of that too.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll be, and so you can see our lovely faces, because at the moment we're just on audio platforms, but we will be coming to YouTube eventually, and this episode and episode 1 will be there. And we are backlogging these so we can put them out. So definitely stay tuned.
Yeah, you're going to be able to see my awkward expressions.
Oh, mine are much more awkward, but that's fine. So awesome. Thanks everyone. One thing, I guess, from a Scalebound perspective, we are going to be at a few conventions coming up. So if you're in TagCon in the US, I believe that's in Washington, I think it was. And if you're in Adelaide, Australia for AvCon in July, or TabletopCon in Brisbane in May, we'll be showing off Highwinds, our debut big Sky Pirate TTRPG. So check those out if you're around those areas, or travel. Like if you like TTRPGs, or a lot of those things will be video games and like streamer stuff, especially at AvCon will be. So yeah, go check it out.
Come check it out, yeah.
All right, we'll see you next fortnight, week, whenever we get these out. There'll be a schedule. We'll put it up.
Yeah.
All right. Catch you, everybody.
Guys.